How many of you can relate to what I'm about to say? Has it been years since you've been to a movie? That's what I'll talk about in my next first vlog. First vlog number 98. This is when this Calgary sports fan takes a break away from his usual sports content to talk about whatever is on my mind. So I just figure with this setting, as we get into the evening, it's actually been years since I've been to a movie. You know, the part where you actually go to a movie theater, you buy a ticket, then you buy some overpriced concessions, and then you go sit in an assigned particular auditorium to watch that movie on a big screen. It's been years since I've done that, and that is before COVID with what's been going on right now. But I just have to say, it's been a few reasons why I would say it's been years since I have been to a movie. I mean, obviously as a sports fan like myself, I generally like to spend more money on going to sporting events as opposed to going to the movie. Keep in mind, I guess we're over 20 years ago, this guy used to work at a movie theater. The movie theater that I used to work at doesn't exist anymore. I used to work at Movie Dome. That is the discount movie theater, so I definitely got exposed to a lot more movies back in the day when obviously you worked at a movie theater. And believe it or not, I'm actually not sick of popcorn, being that you're surrounded by movies and popcorn all the time. I mean, I didn't mind it over the years, but it's just the fact that in recent times, it's just like an experience that doesn't seem to appeal to me as much anymore. And I'm not too sure if many are on the same vein as myself. Because now it's like, if you're going to go to a movie, you're definitely investing, especially if you're buying not only just a ticket, but as well as any overpriced concessions. Just as a solo, you're almost looking at $30 or $40 and a few hours of your time. And also the fact that I'll likely be going to said movie on the weekend. I don't have a vehicle that I'm taking public transit. That's a couple more hours I gotta spend just to get to and from the theater. So I think that's just one appeal there as well. Also, you can maybe say that it's a very, very small part of it. Even though you're not going to be able to watch a new release movie right away, it's just with a lot more streaming services. Well, me personally, I did actually try, Netflix, and I also used to have Show Me with Shaw when it used to be around, as well as Crave TV that Bell owns, but I never used it as much, so I don't pay for those streaming services anymore. And the only thing that I pay for regular streaming is YouTube Premium, and I did make a couple videos on is it worth it or not, so you can see those videos as well. But there's just a lot more options out there as well. And actually, if I recall, the last time I actually went to a movie theater to watch a movie was the Founder by Michael Keaton, going back to early 2017. That was that movie when he was about, how the McDonald's franchise became, franchise from just its individual restaurant to become the empire it is today. So that's a great business movie if you want an idea itself, but it's just, I think the experience might be antiquated even after when COVID is over, once they make new movies again. There's the other appeal too that I'm not too keen on, going into a sanatorium with a bunch of other strangers. I mean, now that we're going to be even more conscious about, diseases and that do you want to go sit in a room with a bunch of other strangers, coughing and farting and sneezing and doing all that? And then, sometimes depending on particular crowds you got people that do absolutely everything but watch the movie, where they are always on their phone or can't be quiet, or, and also the fact that, being solo, I know some people think it's weird that you go to a movie by yourself. Well, if you want to watch a movie and all your friends you have are all busy at different times, and it's another peril of being adult friendship is that everybody's too busy, so it's harder to line up a date. And even then, if I ever did date myself, that's definitely not something I'm engaging right now during COVID. But even going to a movie is not necessarily something I want to do with a date as the sole activity. I mean, if I'm going to spend a date going to a movie with someone, there better be some activities before and after where you actually get to, engage with said date in terms of speaking and beyond spending time with her. But I mean, I think it's just something that I might have lost interest in. The cost isn't there anymore. And then, even being a middle-aged single guy like myself, there is sometimes movies that I wouldn't mind watching, but it just wouldn't be appropriate for me to go watch, on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, especially if it's a family movie, because, I'll get, prejudged that way as well. And even then, I feel more comfortable to watch that later, hopefully if it's either on cable TV or some stream service. But, I mean, if there's some way that you could be able to enjoy the experience at home, where you don't have to worry about going to the theater, spending, a couple hours in an auditorium with a bunch of other strangers, especially now that we're going to be extra more conscious with, things that are transmitted and viral in the air whenever we get to that point. But just those are the very various reasons that it's been years since I've been to a movie, and I don't know, are you in the same boat as well? And I guess, sometimes what also influences what you want to watch is who's in the movie. And I know one of my favorite actors, I generally like these stupid comedies, or maybe it's the fact that I'm getting a little older, but I mean, I liked Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell. I haven't seen as much movies with them in it anymore as time goes on. So you have favorite actors or actresses that they move on or they change as well. I mean, right now I just feel like there's just not as much right now for me to want to justify going to a movie. I always keep saying that. Obviously, I spend more money on going to sporting events as well as hitting the road. I just would rather do those activities a lot more than going to a movie. But there just hasn't been anything good enough for me to justify going anymore. Even the big blockbusters. It doesn't excite me like it once did. Maybe it's just different phases of my life. So I just say, what do you think? What I talked about, that it's been years since I've been going to a movie. Are you in the same vein? Take COVID out of the equation, but just, I mean, are you going to go back to a movie theater whenever it's deemed safe and appropriate from all health authorities and governments? And as well, are you still going to go, regardless if you're vaccinated or not, or whatever is out there? I mean, here in Canada, I mean, the two big companies is Cineplex as well as Landmark, and I know that AMC, I think, is another big company that's down in the U.S. as well. But I think maybe this could potentially be another one of those antiquated business models. I don't know. You think there's always going to be movies, but there seems to be more other ways to consume entertainment besides going to buy a ticket to go to said theater. I mean, sporting event. It's still going to the van, and it's definitely a lot more interactive experience, instead of just sitting there being stuffy and watching the screen. So anyway, as I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, home of the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, but I also do a variety of content that's not related to sports like this, like personal blogs. I do have some attempt at comedy, and I also do like to share my experience, let's say, when I'm on the road or at a sporting event. So if that all sounds like you'd be interested to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, you know what you do, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below. So I just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.